Hey guys, how's it going? So it's Ken Scott from USEntryWaiverServices.com. Also, send it to Ken.com since that's the one we're going to start pushing in the near future. Because that's a lot easier for people to remember. So if you need your US border case cleared, remember, send it to Ken.com. Send it to Ken.com. And we will get you sorted out quicker. So now, I promised the group, the online chat group anyway, that I was going to do a video for pardons. Well, you know what, guys? I'm a man of my word, so here we go. In all honesty, I've got to thank the gentleman in the room there that I referred to as the Karate Kid because I was never going to do this video, but because the fact that when he gives ideas, I think about them and I say, hey, that's not a bad idea. So just because of him, I'm deciding to give away this content for free. You guys can do your own pardons. And he gave me another great idea the other day when he said the thousand that I said we charge for pardons. He says he implied it was too low and tried to indicate that it makes us a discount waiver company. You know what? He's right again. So now what we're going to do for pardons, if people retain us, the fee for the pardon will be dependent upon how severe. Thank you, Karate Kid. You gave me well three great ideas here that help us make more money, expand even further, and you did it to us for free and out the goodness of your heart. I'm here. I'm going to have the links in the description so you guys don't have to worry about that. And guys, remember when I say guys, I mean male, female. It's gender neutral. Okay, so we go to Canada.ca, and again, this link will be in the description, so don't worry about it just yet. So you're going to do a Canadian pardon, aka record suspension. So you go to the site, and I suggest you do not click right here, only because the fact that I like things straightforward, simple, no fishtailing back and forth. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on this one, apply for a record suspension, but I'm going to do it this way. You guys can click, but I'm going to right click. So applying for a record suspension, so we arrow down, and record suspension application guide. This is the probably, let's bring it up first. It's probably the first thing you want to do. Now, if you want the actual regulation of the guide, just click right here. I may come back to that at the end, but I want to give you guys just the meat of everything. So these are the basic forms you're going to need. Let's go with first court information sheet. And I'll just click on it. Okay, court information sheet. And it's a sheet you have to fill out and send to your actual courthouse where you convicted. So let's do it like this. And then we download the form. And what I suggest you guys do is download, print the form by hand, fill it out by hand, type it in. It's more professional and a lot nicer. So in this case, let's do this. Okay, so court information form, obviously, this gets mailed to the court where you're convicted. So let's say if you're convicted in, let's say Toronto, hopefully you know which court location you were convicted because Toronto has what 6 to 8, and it's a pain in the ass to figure out. His name is Jim Jones. Have you ever used another name? That's yes or no. Let's just say no. We'll just, you know what? Let me just do it this way. Jones. Actually, the way I like to do it is in all caps. Then James. Have you ever used another name? No. Are you male or female? Hopefully you know which one you are. So say male. What's your date of birth? Year. 1980. Um, I'm going to say the second. It's not. That's not my actual birthday, but just so you guys know, what is your mailing address? Now let's say you're at 800 Main Street, Toronto, Ontario. I don't know, V5N6 Young 8, whatever the postal code is. Country, obviously, Canada. But it says for court use only. Do not write in this section. So what does this mean, guys? It means ignore it. Do not write in this section. Go to the second half of it, your full name, and this once you've typed it in, you print everything out. Just put it to the side. Okay, that's the court information form. Again, this gets mailed to the actual courthouse where you're convicted. So if you're convicted in Winnipeg, let's say Winnipeg City Court, whatever, this will go to Winnipeg Court. Columbia and Alberta. So those places I know just like back of my hand, but other places, some of the other courts we have to look up. It's not a big deal. Okay, let's keep going back. Oh, here, all right. If you were in the military, you'd fill this out, but I've only came across 3 people who were in the military, so I'm not even gonna bother with that. Let's do the local police check. Now, this form, once you complete this, you have to take it to the city. All right, so download it. Again, remember, like I said, I recommend you print these off by hand, fill them out, and just come back to your screen. Again, simple. Okay, Jones. John. Have you ever used any other names? No. What is your gender? What's your date of birth? 1988. Let's say 08. 08. Do you have a driver license? It's either yes or no. If it's no, click no. If it's yes, click yes. And fill out the data here, like the province. Hopefully you know what province you're living in, and your license number, your mailing address, again, 800 Mike Street, City, Winnipeg, Manitoba, postal code, country, yada yada. Now, this one they want to know where you've lived for 5 years. So your house or apartment, your city, your province, country, the year, month that you moved into this unit. And remember, you have to go back 5 years for this. So you guys can figure out this part here in terms of if the first line is under 5 years, you guys can figure out what goes there for your other locations. And the name of the police agency, you type in there, yada yada. I recommend you sign this in front of the officers when you go to the station to hand this in. And when you go to the station to hand this in, take your original prints that you get in the mail for pardon, aka record suspension. I say take your driver license and passport, just to be safe. It's taking some time to go down. Oh, there we go. It's a bit of okay. So again, it says Section D for police use only. Do not write in this section, which means do not write in this section. Your full legal name, your date of birth. And remember, this goes to the local police station. Yes. Let's go back. Okay, we got that. Uh, I mean, there's really no need to go into this one Because what we do with every pardon application, we automatically send a driver license and passport. So, I mean, we can go in if you want, but yeah, see, this is next. So, like I said, for us, driver's license, passports. If you guys do the same, driver license and passport, you cannot go wrong. There's no sense digging into that 'cause that's irrelevant. This one you can probably ignore. Yeah, this is involving like a sex offense with a child. So probably most of you can just ignore this. But if you got convictions involving kids, you need to give us a shout because this is something different. You may not even qualify for a pardon, in all honesty. So let's just leave that alone for now. If you're like Willie, the warehouse worker from Winnipeg, who stole a car at 19, now these kinds of cases in terms of doing these pardons on your own is perfect for you. You don't have to pay any discount waiver company. I don't know, $6.99 for a pardon when you can do it yourself. And then all you got to do is pay for your digital prints for pardon, your local police record check. When you take it to the police station, they're going to ask you for a fee. Fees range between $80 to $100 depending upon your city. And when you go there, actually, let me go back to that. You go to that police station, you bring the form, you bring your ID. I suggest you bring your driver license and passport. You go in there, give them the form, they'll look it over. They will either complete it on the spot, their portion, and mail to you, or they will just complete it at the station and just hand it back to you. So it's kind of, I guess, the clerk's choice. Okay, let's go to, okay, we did that. We did that. We did that. I'm gonna come back to that one. Let's go to this one. Mutual benefits form. Again, you open the form. I mean, self-explanatory. It's simple. Your last name, your first name, your date of birth. You sign it. Now, question number one. Most people will have to only do 1 through 3. One says, clearly indicate how a record suspension would provide you with a measurable benefit and how it would sustain your rehabilitation into society as a law-abiding citizen. Basically, it's saying if you get this pardon, how is it going to help you and how it's going to basically listen, if that makes any sense. I want to keep it simple for you guys. And we go to number 2. Describe all the positive changes you've already made to improve your situation since your conviction. You may include supporting documents. So you basically got to describe how your life has changed in a positive way since you were convicted. You may include, depending upon the case. Again, full legal name, date of birth, self-explanatory. This one, information on the offenses, describe the circumstances and how/why each of the offenses was committed. Who, what, when, where is it, why? Self-explanatory. This one is for the sex offenses, including the victims of, the age of the victim. If you guys don't have any sex offenses, just put an X through it. Okay, let me go back. Oh, I think yeah, that's why I said this one. Okay, this is your record suspension, your actual application. Oh, by the way, before I open it, you're gonna have to pay 644.88 Canadian for your application fee. So just to let you guys know. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Okay, okay, it's just But you really should do this on a laptop, in all honesty. Again, last name, first name. Have you ever used another name? It's either yes or no. Your gender, your birthday, were you born in Canada? Yes or no. Driver license, yes or no. Are you employed? Yes or no. If yes, who is your employer? If you are self-employed, please indicate the name and number of your company, which that would be right here. So if you work for Batman's Pardons and Waivers as an employee, you put it right here. I like picking on Batman's waivers, Batman's pardons. Yeah, Batman's pardons and waivers. And your mailing address, obviously, you should know what your mailing address is, so I won't go over that. This one, they want to know 10 years of residence history. Now, remember, the local record check was 5 years. This one, they want 10 years. So, uh, 602 uh, Adams Street. This time, we're going to put you in Calgary province. I like to spell mine out, unless it's BC. Country, Canada. Postal code. I can't think of a Calgary postal code offhand, but I'll just for now just put X. The year and month you moved to this house. So let's say you moved to this house 2010, and we'll give you October. Oh, ignore that slip. You arrow down. Again, your full legal name, your date of birth, your phone number. If they can leave a voicemail, meaning the pardon board, you guys really should say yes. Can we contact someone about your application? Well, this would be you, unless you hired Batman's Pardons and Waivers, then you give their info, which hopefully you didn't after you. And this one, sometimes it's applicable, sometimes not. Do you have any other convictions that do not appear on your criminal record, including convictions in another country? This one's kind of a case by case basis because the RCMP, in its infinite wisdom, sometimes their databases are not correct. And my one associate who worked for a law enforcement agency, she's also in the room. She has much more knowledge regarding this in their databases. And if there is an offense that does not show up, you're supposed to place it here. If you guys get stuck on this, give us a shout. Sometimes you obviously would sign it and back, just back up a bit. Okay. Actually, we got everything. Yeah, that. If you guys tips for completing a record suspension, you can click on that. How to apply for one is a video tutorial. I'm not going to go over everything. I'm not going to give you info overload. Uh, that's the application form. I mean, it's the same. I like to keep things uniform, so that's why I said let's just see these forms first. So here's the guide, and I recommend you print this out. It's actual guide step by steps. You follow this, you cannot go wrong. And oh, by the way, the waiting period is, I should go over that. Okay, how can I say this? If you live in British Columbia or Ontario, if you have an indictable conviction, ignore this part. If it's indictable, see, indictable is 5 and summary is 3. Yeah, indictable is 5 and summary 3 if you live in BC or Ontario. If it's anywhere else in Canada, indictable is 10 and 5 is for summary. And this time basically is the waiting period. And the waiting period starts after you completed all punishment, which includes jail time and paying fines. That's a big one people seem to miss. So if you didn't pay your time or pay your fine for stealing that car back in 2010, and you live in let's say you live in Toronto, and you say, okay, well, I got convicted in 2010, so I'm eligible for a pardon. No, you're not. So what happens is when you contact the court and they write back and say, nope, your fines have not been paid, then you have to go to the court, pay that fine, then your waiting period starts. So if you paid the fine in 2020, your waiting period starts 2020. So you got to make sure you got all your punishment sorted out before you apply for these pardons. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is just a guide, so it's you guys can read the, print it out, read through this, yada yada. Not really a big a deal. Notes if you want to put notes. Oh, okay, there's the actual forms in the guide as well. Oh, here, this one's important right here. Let me go back up. When you guys pay for your application fee, I told you before, there you go, it's right there, 644 and 88 cents. So this is a credit card payment form. So you go down. Record suspension applicant's name. Hopefully you know your own name. Name exactly as it appears on your credit card. Fill it in there. Your complete billing address. Sign it. And Visa, MasterCard, whatever you have, Amex, credit card number, and expiry date. This is important. This definitely has to go in the application. So you guys read this guide in general. It's going to basically go over the same things I'm telling you. And this is just basically a basic overview. I mean, like I said, it's all here in this guide. I think the biggest thing for people is they have to know where to find this website. And I'm going to put it in the links anyway, the description. Okay, so let's go back. I have a habit of making long videos. I apologize because I can be a bit long-winded. I'm going to ignore that. Yeah, I think I got everything covered. Yeah, okay, got that covered. That. Obviously, you guys know about mailing, and it goes over the steps. Make sure you have all this stuff done. That's the mailing address. I'll leave that open for a moment. You can take a look at it. Parole Board of Canada, Clemency and Record Suspension Division, 410 Laurier Street, Laurier Avenue West, 5th floor, Ottawa, Ontario, K1A 0 Raymond 1. But again, when you died, you have all that stuff in front of you. So I think that pretty much wraps this up. And again, hopefully this video, you guys will know, for the most part, you can do your own part, and if it's a fairly simple case. But if you guys got 9, 10, 12 convictions, and you might want to give us a shout, maybe have us do this for you. And like I said, the cost for the pardon is going to be how complex your case turns out to be. So the nice gentleman we referred to as a Karate Kid was correct when he said, and he's right. So having said that, we're going to charge it based upon the severity of the case. And again, I want to thank him for the great ideas that he gave us, all at no cost and from the goodness of his heart. And the more things he puts in the room, we're going to use his ideas as we've been doing for the past 3 years. So again, he has no idea how much he's helped us grow. So, but if he's listening, which I know he is, I'd say, good brother, please keep up the good work because if it wasn't for you, some things would not have happened for us in a positive way. So I think that's about it. So I'm gonna sign off here, and you guys can like, click, subscribe for the videos, and give us your comments in the bottom. Share this with your friends. And there's something else I wanted to cover about these pardons. Oh, by the way, a pardon will not help. This is where it gets tricky with these pardons. These discount waiver companies keep telling people, oh, get a pardon. Get a pardon. The border will not know your conviction. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes it may work, sometimes it may not work. It just really depends. Like, for example, you got a pardon, but your name was in the gang task force in Surrey. They're still going to tell the border about you. That's one example. Or another example, they look into the CPIC and see there's no conviction. They know you got stuff on you. They take you into the back room, shake you up, and then you start singing like a canary. So they say, okay, that's fine. And there's another method. I should find a news story where they discussed that even with a pardon, there's certain things apparently that's done in terms of notifying the border that a pardon has been issued, so the border is aware something's issued. Or if your info was already downloaded before you got the pardon, it's there. So don't believe that BS when they say a pardon will hide it from the border. That's not necessarily true. It just really depends on the case. So I keep warning you guys, stay away from these discount waiver call 5, 6.99 for pardon. Remember Batman's pardons or waivers, etc. Because if you guys get screwed by this, by them for a pardon or a U.S. waiver, you only got yourselves to blame. So do what you want, but I'm telling you, you only got yourself to blame. Now, having said that, we're getting lots of feedback from people calling in, or sorry, well, emailing in and calling me personally and thanking us for what we're doing. One bird from Toronto, she sent a nice email saying, keep up the good stuff you're doing. Well, I want to show you guys it, but I won't have time to edit out her identifying info. So it's too bad because I really want you guys to see that email. Anyway, what I'll do maybe is print it out and then do another radio show for like emails of people that write in and blacken out their identifying info. So anyway, have a great day. And in the words of my Vulcan colleague, live long. Before I get to that point, I gotta always say again, like, subscribe, yada yada. Click the buttons, and again, it's sendittoken.com. Sendittoken.com. We're at 1-888-908-3841 or 604-332-9213. We've got locations in Burnaby, Surrey, Vancouver, London, England, Tallinn, Estonia. We've got one in Washington State. The one in Winnipeg, I'm unsure about that one. So that one is kind of up in the air. But we're a global entity, and I have to thank you guys for it. So now I can say, in the words of my Vulcan colleague, live long and prosper.